And now what you see in here is the best investment one can make in life. I'm injecting myself with 6 live viruses, including polio, but they're weakened. When you inject, you want to inject into the leg muscle or the arm muscle, and then you want to go slowly. So if you do it slowly, it doesn't squeeze that much, and then it's not that painful. Imagine if you push it, then it's kind of creating tension inside. You can kind of feel it. And the medical professionals, or when you do it with some other person, you squeeze the muscle with 2 hands, with one hand, and then you inject with the other one. And while you inject, you slowly remove the pressure from the hand. You're squeezing, and then it creates an effect that kind of sedating, and there is no pain. This needle is a very cool one. It's a small one. Nice. It's like halfway in. There is no pain from the needle. It's just the sensation of the liquid being injected. So far, no rash, no response. Yeah, I'm going extra slow. As you inject yourself, you kind of can feel the liquid, and it distributes. If you inject it too fast, there is kind of a bubble. So if you squeeze and flex and like massage the muscle, it's easier, but I'm doing it one-handed, so extra difficult. So in case you can use 2 hands, you just massage the muscle a little bit and squeeze it, and then you inject into the spot in between the fingers, into the muscle where you squeeze it. Okay, almost done. Okay, also you don't inject into the vein, you inject into the muscle. Okay. Injected as much as I could. That's it for the best investment one can make in life. Blood came out. Yeah, blood came out. Blood came out a little bit, but no blood on the surface. Oh, the one-handed professional. So even the people with one hand can do it. Nice. Interesting that no blood comes out. Well, the next step is to apply another round of antiseptic on the wound, and a patch if you want to apply a patch. And now let's see what is it about the vaccines and why they're so nice. Now let's go into the internet and see why this little thing is the best investment one can make in life. So for example, the Haemophilus influenza B. Most strains of influenza type B are opportunistic pathogens. They are opportunistic parasites. They usually live in the host without causing disease, or in many cases without causing any immune response, but cause problems with other factors such as viral infection, reduced immune function, or chronically inflamed tissues from allergies. So in case you are allergic, you also need the vaccines. You need the vaccines against the influenza types of bacteria and viral infections. Because in case you get a stiff neck, you sleep on the side, you get a stiff neck, and you think, oh, I just got a stiff neck because I was sleeping on the side of the pillow badly. No, it's probably somebody coughed in the metro or the bus, You got the influenza virus and the influenza pathogen, and then it infected your nerve in the neck, and you get a stiff neck or a stiff muscle. Let's go to meningitis, which is common in Africa and also starting getting common around the world. So the meningitis is like another type of infection, and there is a vaccine against meningitis B, C, A, V, and 100, don't remember, but there are separate ones. And then the one against the meningitis, guess what? It also protects against gonorrhea, a sexually transmitted disease. So it was tested in New Zealand, and then they found that it actually protects against gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is caused by Neisseria gonorrhea bacteria, which are closely related Neisseria meningitis, which cause meningitis B, because the protein sequences of the bacteria that cause meningitis B and gonorrhea are to 80 or 90% identical. Immune reactions to them might affect one another. So in case you get the meningitis B vaccine, you're also somewhat protected against the gonorrhea, which is not a nice thing, which infects your genitals, your throat, your eyes, whatever you touch, and there is that thing. Okay, now the meningitis B vaccine is more common in Africa. It costs like 50 cents, one US dollar. When they bring it to Europe, they cost you 60. Those monopolies and cartels. So it's very good to get vaccines because they also protect you from other diseases which are similar to the ones that you vaccinate against. So get the vaccines. It's the best investment you can make. Then let's see chickenpox. Chickenpox is like a varicella zoster, and also connected to herpes. So in case you get the varicella vaccine, you are also a little bit protected from herpes because it's the same type of vaccine. So have you seen people like that on the beach who have a wart like this? Or let's see if this is a very, very brutal one. This is all from Wikipedia. The chickenpox or varicella is an airborne disease which spreads through the coughs and sneezing if the person is infected. So you go on the bus, somebody coughs, you get varicella. Did you get the varicella vaccine? Probably not, because it's a modern vaccine. Old people and adults, they mostly don't have it because it's a new vaccine. And so when you was vaccinated as a child, you didn't get it. But when you go to the beach, do you see some people who have like a pimple or some kind of spots on the legs that look like this? When I go to the beach, I see people who have spots like this, like 1 in 100 has it. And in case that person coughs, and in case you touch this spot, you get it. And what it does, it infects your nervous system. And then you get stiff muscles, stiff nerves. Then you develop rash. It infects your brain, you get inflamed brain. And then you get irritated and whatnot. You destroy your relationship, you destroy your career, you destroy your life. Get the varicella vaccine. It's cheaper than buying the medicine for treatment of the infection. And let's see, human papilloma, HPV. It's a vaccine that's only paid by insurance if you are a baby and a female girl. To the men, they say no, get sick and get lost. So in the men, it causes like the rectal cancer or the cancer of the throat or infection of the lips, infection of the nervous system, gives you common warts. Warts, flat warts, round warts, genital warts, genital cancer. It gives you genital cancer in case you don't get vaccinated. It's over 20 years, over 30 years, over 40 years. And mouse papilloma, so mouse infections, and this mouse dots, bumps and spots, the white bumps that you get on the lips. And then you get you oropharyngeal cancer. It basically gives you cancer over 30 years or 20 years. It gives you cysts. Yeah, it gives you cysts. And then there is a vaccine against human papilloma. It costs $200 for one dose, and you need 3 doses for 95% immunity and 4 doses for 99% immunity. So this is how it looks like. It's a complicated one. Human papilloma viruses, there are and mostly everybody gets infected. There are at the moment 170 types of known papilloma viruses. Used to be 160 a few years ago, so more and more of them get discovered. So they transmit it very easily. In public transport, sexual contact from family member to family member, by touch, kiss, drinking, food, sharing. And in 20 to 30 years it gives you cancer. Throat cancer, lip cancer, eye cancer, butt cancer, vaginal cancer, any wet surface that the body has wet tissue. Okay. The price for the HPV vaccine is a bit steep, super steep, but it's still a good thing to invest into. One of the best things you can invest into. Then let's see, hepatitis B. Hepatitis B is an infectious disease caused by the hepatitis B virus HBV that affects the liver. The liver is a very essential organ. Without the liver, whatever you eat, if the body doesn't like it, if it's toxic, you are basically sick or you are dying. So you need your liver very much in life. And hepatitis B can infect your liver, and within 20 years, 30 years, your health slowly decreases, the efficiency of the liver decreases. It's just not a good life to live. So it can cause both acute and chronic infections. Many people have no symptoms during the initial infection. They have no symptoms. So, but the hepatitis B vaccine, the cheapest one was like 16 or 50 within 21 doses. You need 3 doses for 60 for 3 doses. You can protect yourself against hepatitis B. Hepatitis B can be... You can be infected with it with coughs, with sharing of liquids, with food. Hepatitis A can survive for like 7 days in food. So you want to get vaccinated against hepatitis B. In case you didn't get it, just go get it. It's like the best insurance. It's better than the medical insurance, but because it keeps paying you. So you get the vaccine, this little thing that keeps on paying, it protects you against the potential disease that will cost you thousands. It will cost you thousands when you treat the symptoms and you treat the disease. But the vaccine itself is cheap in comparison to that. So it's the best investment you can make in life. And it also protects you against stiff neck and stiff muscles that are related to the infection. It protects you against head pain. You are more productive, more active, you can work more. Lesser days you are weak, you can enjoy life. And it doesn't affect your brain once you are vaccinated, so you get less brain inflammation, you are less irritated, you can think clearly, you can be a better human, you can be more efficient, you can generate more ideas for income, you are healthier, happier, and you don't infect other people around you in case that's your concern. So get vaccinated if you can. Now let's see what's in the package. This is the setup, the ingredients that I'll use for the vaccination of myself with 6 deadly viruses. This is the cotton patch, the cotton stick, alcohol, standardized pivodine iodine solution for the disinfection of the spot which I'm gonna inject the needle into, and this is the vaccine inside. I paid $73 something like 75 euros for the vaccine. This is a hexavalent one, it has 6 vaccines inside. The price is a little bit steep, and this is because of the corruption and monopoly. And the corruption and monopoly works like this. The pharmacies, they are individual and they are distributed and they're okay. But there are only 1 or 2 suppliers that supply the pharmacies. And the supplier is probably a joint venture owned by the pharmaceutical companies. So whatever the supplier has, it means the pharmacies only get whatever the supplier has to offer to them. I went to the pharmacy and I asked them for about 10 or 15 different vaccines that have the same stuff inside. For hepatitis B, they had only one in stock by the supplier, and this one was the most expensive one. So I got this one. In case somebody wants to get to work in the European Commission or in the European government or in any other country, if you want to stop this corruption of the pharmaceutical industry, check out who is the supplier of the pharmacies and who owns the suppliers. Then you kind of get to the idea. Okay, enough of the political stuff. Let's get to open this 75 euro, 73 euro package. Okay. It has to be put on ice all the way from the factory to the pharmacy to now. It has been in the refrigerator, so it's put on ice in one bag, and then inside of the bag is another bag so it doesn't get wet. This is the Infanrix Hexa one. It's okay. It has all of these. It's one dose. Has polio and influenza B and hepatitis B and pertussis and one other one. Okay, GlaxoSmithKline. Actually, GlaxoSmithKline makes some cheaper vaccines, but this one, I have no idea why they make it so more expensive. Usually it costs, this type of vaccine costs like 45 when the pharmacy buys it, and 50 when it's the usual price. Okay, I paid 75, so the package is very well sealed. And inside there is the injection with a small needle and the what's it called, this injector. It's pre-filled with a liquid, and then you put the liquid into this one, so there is a freeze-dried powder, and basically nothing else. The anti-vaxxers claim there's a lot of preservative, mercury, whatnot. So where is the mercury? In the freeze-dried powder? In the solution liquid? The solution liquid is just a very 1% salt, and the rest is purified water, or just the purified water. In this case, I think it's what it says. Doesn't say much, but it says 0.5. So it's a little bit of salt water, not sure. You can check online for this. So this is the basic instructions, like all the side effects. I know the side effects. When you don't get the vaccine, you get the side effects. If you get the vaccine, you can bear with the side effects for a day or two. Okay, so one needle is used to inject the water into the serum, into the vaccine container, and one needle is used to inject into the muscle. Okay, and it's produced in Belgium. Belgian people make money. Okay, let's sterilize the leg and inject the thing. Okay, there is the larger needle and the smaller needle. The larger needle is to put the liquid into the container with the powder, which is still cool. The water and the sterilized water and the solution for the powder is inside. So basic plan is take the larger needle, fix it into this, and then inject the water into here, and then mix it up, like shaking, and then suck out the liquid back into the syringe, and then apply the smaller needle while not touching the tip and the metal part, so which is already like well made, and then just inject into the muscle of the leg. Let's do all of that. Okay, let's inject the solution liquid, which is also being kept cool. Okay. Now let's mix it up. Now this activates the vaccine. And there are two needles basically for the idea that while you put one needle into the solution box, it looks dissolved. Actually not much liquid. The idea is always dissolved very well. Okay, the idea is that when you push the needle into it, you collect a small piece of something, or maybe the box is the needle is actually too large, and then the one that you want to inject, you want to be smaller so you don't hurt yourself or the baby. So for this there are two needles. The larger one for dissolving the vaccine and for filling the syringe, and the one for injecting is a milder and smaller one. One crude one and one thin interesting one. Okay, let's do this. Let's fill it up and inject. Now it's pre-filled, all mixed, and the one important step that you want to do, you want to push the air out of the syringe. So you just push the air out. If you inject with air, it can create some problems in the veins. So what you want to do is you want to remove the air and then push it out so it's like tight, so that there is not a bubble and the one drop comes out of the syringe at the top. Let's do that. And now let's see what was inside of this wonderful invention, wonderful vaccine, and to understand what the anti-vaxxers are concerned about and why they talk that the people shouldn't get vaccinated, their children, the crazy people. Okay, inside was the antigens is not a live organism. The antigens of the pertussis is just a toxoid, and then the hepatitis B antigen, the surface antigen, not a live hepatitis B. Poliovirus was inactivated, so it's a weakened one, weakened by chemicals, electricity, or whatnot, heat. The manufacturers know what they're doing with this, and then the amount of this is like micrograms. It's like 1/1000th of the gram. Just microgram. Just nothing, less than a gram. And then there was 6 things in this vaccine, and only 2 of them were live weakened one. No, 4 ones. The polio 1, 2, 3, the weakened one, and the Haemophilus influenzae type B, which was inactivated basically, and then it had a carrier protein. So, and the anti-vaxxers, they are concerned about this, about the live viruses and bacteria. No, they're not live. They're inactivated, weakened, destroyed, so that the immune system reacts to them and it can learn about them. It's like a training of the immune system for the case you get infected with this one or with a similar one. So, and then, so it's not the 6 live viruses and bacteria, it's just 4 of them, and the rest is just proteins and toxins from which train the immune system by default. And then there are also preservatives. The anti-vector people, they talk about mercury. There is no mention of mercury whatsoever, just the aluminum hydroxide. And look how much it is. 0.5 milligrams. 0.5 milligrams, it's nothing. And then it says it could contain trace amounts of formaldehyde, neomycin, polymycin, which are used during the production in the factory. It doesn't mean that they are in the vaccine. It could contain by accident, it fly through the air accidentally, or by gas or something, which means trace amounts. They are not in the vaccine itself, they are in the factory, so that the people who work in the factory can clean up the factory and they can be protected in the working environment, so that you also know that what the stuff that you get is also clean and clean from the previous day of production. So this is a good trade-off. In case you're worried about formaldehyde, guess what? The old furniture has more formaldehyde than any vaccine. This is 0.5 micrograms, is nothing. If you go into any furniture shop and you inhale the air, you inhale more formaldehyde than there is in the vaccine. And if you eat salmon and if you eat the fish that eats other fish, then you probably get more mercury. Or if you have any electronics in your house, you get more mercury from the solder, from the, let's stick with fish. In case you eat fish or salmon that eats other fish, you get more mercury from the fish than you would get from any vaccine. And I'm not sure why these anti-vaxxer people are so concerned about mercury. There is no mercury in the vaccines, at least in the modern ones. And other vaccines have other different things. This was the hexavalent. They had 6 diseases. It was the protection against 6 diseases, and they connected the hundreds and thousands of other diseases that are connected to the similar infections that it protects against. So other vaccines may have some other things, and the basic. There are also oral ones, and the idea of the live viral bacteria and viruses is that they are weakened and then they're inactivated, so the immune system can learn about them, but you don't actually get infected. It's still a better bet to be infected by the vaccine than to be infected by a virus and die, or to get like a chronic illness for 20-30 years where you pay every day for a treatment. And then let's go to the Antivector website and then see what they claim. They claim that the vaccines cause, for example, the MMR vaccine cause vomiting, diarrhea, anaphylaxis, pain, nerve deafness, diabetes, arthritis, encephalitis. Encephalitis is caused by ticks. So the anti-vaxxer people, they lie. They say the vaccine caused 78 deaths. Guess what? Without the vaccine, there would be millions. Don't listen to the anti-vaxxer people, they're just sick. In case you want to vaccinate your children, you just make sure they're well before the vaccine, and then after the vaccine you do a leg massage or the arm massage, you move their legs around, you play with them, you give them to drink. If they cry, just calm them down. If they get an inflammation, that's okay. They get an inflammation, I watch the temperature. If you get too much, just give them ibuprofen or anti-inflammatory one. So it's not necessary, but you can watch for it. And you just basically care for your baby, and then once it's over, you are sure your baby is not gonna die or not gonna get infected with some horrible disease that infects the brain and the nerves where your baby cannot move the limbs well. So don't listen to the anti-vaxxers. Let them die off slowly while you be healthy. 1 hour into the vaccination, the inflammation is completely gone. You can still see the red dot of the injection. The rest is pretty normal. There is some stiff muscle. No headache, not whatsoever. Oh, no difference. I don't know if it's a stiff from cycling, because I did cycle a little bit. Or is it stiff from the injection, or just the regular stiff from the influenza. Once you get influenza, you get the stiff neck, stiff muscles. If you don't vaccinate yourself, you get the stiffness for life. If you vaccinate, just for a day or two. It's great. So in case you are concerned about these anti-vaxxer mysteries and anti-vaxxer urban legends, they're all fake. Okay, and even if you get the rash and inflammation, just keep it for a day or two. It's better than having a rash for life. Another anti-vaccinating site by a fake doctor, and they say common sense would suggest that you're vaccinating too much. You get 5,000 vaccinations in the 18 years. Guess what? In those 18 years you can die over 18 times and get infected into your brain 18 times if you don't get vaccinated. If you get vaccinated, the side effects are just for a day or two, a week at most. But if you don't get vaccinated, the side effects are for life. So it's like a very stupid decision not to make the investment. And then the government recommends about 50 doses of 14 different vaccines. In case you are smart, you get all of them. You get the 50 or the 100 that are within the 6 years of age. So 6 years, okay, you get the side effect from the vaccine like for a day or two, which would be 150 days at most. And you get a little bit of rash on the spot where it was injected. And you have seen just now, I've injected myself with a vaccine which got only 4 things that resemble any kind of virus or bacteria, and the rest are just the proteins or the toxins from the diseases. So even if the vaccine is like the multivalent and multifunctional one, it doesn't mean that all of the things inside are alive. No. Anti-vaxxers are just distorting the truth, and then they're trying to get people sick because probably they are vaccinated themselves, but they told other people not to vaccinate. So in case you want to support science, you want to support medicine, you want to support people, yourself, you want to live a healthy life, get the vaccine, the adult ones. Check the ones that you didn't get. You probably didn't get the varicella, probably didn't get the HPV one. In case you did the tetanus, the mumps and the rubella, the hepatitis one. If you got them like 20 years ago, just go and get one booster shot. Just show the anti-vaxxers and the mad people, and show to yourself that you care, that you are a smart person, that you want to make the best investment that is available. Or don't make the investment and treat your symptoms while you're sick. Just look at this from the perspective of the anti-vaxxers and from the perspective of the case. Let's say you get sick. You get sick, or you got this one. You get this one, or you get sick maybe in the future by some type of virus or bacteria that is similar to the one that you could have vaccinated against. Isn't this a good investment? Isn't this better than the health insurance? The health insurance, it will pay for the treatment, but it cannot prevent you from the disease. So in this sense, the vaccine is better than any health insurance. Okay, one more thing. 10 minutes after the vaccination, after the injection, you can see some rash, like a little red rash. It's probably normal from the pinching of the needle and from the polio and the hepatitis and the influenza. It's not my first one, it's the revaccination. If you get the first one, or the baby or the child gets the first one, it's probably the reaction could be like a fever or something. I probably just get the small patch of rash in this area. I have to film it before it goes away, probably away in half an hour. So it's a normal reaction, it's a good reaction, it means that the body is responding. And it feels a little bit numb. So then what you want to move, stretch a little bit the legs or the muscles. Let your kid jump around, go on a swing, move the liquids around so it's lesser stiff, so that the immune cells of the body can move better. Yeah, the rash is already going away. It was a bit more, so I get to catch it before it goes away. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, something like that. So the usual rash is just limited to this area, which is 5 by 5 centimeters, not more. Maybe 4 by 4. Interesting. So the immune system is responding, which is a good sign. And in case I get the rash all over the body and the fever, it means it's a new something that the immune system is learning. Science works very well. Then there's also very good news about the genomic vaccines. The genomic vaccines is a new type of vaccine which just don't contain any living pathogen or bacteria or virus. The genomics vaccine, they just take the DNA or the RNA of from the pathogen, from the bacteria, from the virus, and then or from the parasite, and then they put them into the cells or eggs, and they produce the genetic material, which in production is less expensive than the traditional or the older vaccines. And then a single vaccine can also include the sequences for multiple pathogens and proteins. So, and if the bacteria or the virus evolves and mutates, you can include the new ones. So one genomic vaccine would be cheap, and it could include like vaccination against hundreds, maybe thousands of different infections, viruses, parasites. So genomic vaccines is the good next best thing that we get in vaccination. So in case you are an adult and you don't know if you should get vaccinated or not, yes, you should. In your adult life there's going to be developed new vaccines, and then you should buy them, vaccinate yourself. Just check around the vaccines on Wikipedia which are available and see which ones you got and not. And every 5 years or every 10 years new vaccines come out, and you can vaccinate yourself against and just live a happy, disease-free life, symptom-free life, infection-free life. Next big things are the genomic vaccines, which will be great. They will protect against cancer, more serious diseases like HIV. They will protect against very complicated parasites. The future of vaccines is great. Let's investigate a little bit further on Wikipedia, the favorite investigation site for part-time scientists and scientists who get paid for it. So the vaccines can also protect against cancer. So the cancer is a result of multi-year infection. Some types of cancer, such as cancer in the liver, cancer that are caused by viruses, and like the viruses like HPV or hepatitis B1, they can be prevented by the hepatitis B and the HPV vaccine. So other cancer may be prevented from if you have the immunity against bacterial infections, the one in the stomach, for example, the Helicobacter pylori. So the traditional vaccines, they can also protect you against cancers that develop as the result from the infection of the viruses or bacteria that infect you and then cause cancer over a long time, over a long period of infection. And then the Cuba, they did something great. The Cuba developed the Simavax EGF vaccine, which is against to treat lung cancer carcinoma. So it's a recombinant human epidermal growth factor, and it's connected to the protein of the cancer. The vaccine was developed in Havana, Cuba. So in all the other countries, the developed world, they want to adopt this vaccine and they research about it. So they do a test study. So it's also possible to vaccinate yourself against cancer. But only in Cuba. Now let's look at the vaccination schedules and to answer the question, should I get vaccinated or am I already vaccinated from the childhood? So this is the vaccination schedule from Chile, Cuba, USA, UK, Finland, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Botswana, India, Australia, China, Japan. So they cover the basic infections and basic vaccines. The one in Finland is great, India, Australia is great, US is okay, Germany is okay. And then look at this at the bottom. They don't vaccinate against what? They don't vaccinate against varicella, yellow fever, and syphilitis. And syphilitis is a very debilitating disease. It's connected to the Lyme disease. It's connected to the disease you can get from cats and dogs. So, and the varicella one is the one they just give you these pimples, red spots on the legs when it's hot outside. And look at this. It's not being administered in the developing and the developed world, only in where? Varicella, yes. Saudi Arabia, USA, and Germany nowadays. It's only those three countries, so maybe you got them, maybe you didn't get them because it's a recent vaccine. Just get the varicella vaccine. Stay safe, stay healthy. One additional important thing that you want to do is you want to take your immunity pass or buy one if you don't have one, and then you take the sticker from the bottle of the vaccine and you put the sticker into the vaccination pass for yourself and for travel and as a reference for the future and as a reference for many things. And then you put in the sticker, glue it on nicely so that you can prove to yourself and the other people that you got vaccinated. The doctors also provide a stamp, and if you do the booster one, just do it yourself. And then now the booster, you can mark which you have vaccinated yourself against. So this is a booster shot against tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, influenza type B, HIV, and then hepatitis B and polio. Booster shot, then you mark the date, is 2017. And the last one was 20 years ago, 97, so it's about time to get the booster shot. It's gonna be valid maybe for 10 or 20 years. It's your own immunity, so you should care more than the other people. And then there are more pages for other vaccines that will come in the future. And then this is the newer vaccines that came out in 2006 or something. There are more. Cuba has a vaccine against lung cancer. They're very advanced. So there's a meningococcal one and the pneumococcal one. This had 1, 2, 3, like 4 viruses inside. This one had was this pneumococcal 23. They got 23 different viruses and bacteria inside. Not a single rash, no side effects, nothing whatsoever. And then you can also get the vaccines against HPV, and you can get the hepatitis B, A. You can get one against herpes also. You can get the one for varicella, very important. You can get one for meningitis. Those ones I got in India. There were like 3 vaccines, meningococcal, pneumococcal, and hepatitis B shot for like about 60, and this one for 75, just for the one, but okay, there are 6 of them inside. And I just needed the hepatitis B one, the booster shot, that's it. So also very important to have your immunity pass for yourself and for travel and for others. It's just for your basic reference to yourself, and some countries don't allow you to travel if you don't have this. So something else, I got BCG tested. Oh, okay. So it's about, there are also some new vaccines which you don't have in your older pass, and this is why you need to get vaccinated. Even if you are an adult. Adult vaccination is very important. I hope this video was helpful and it was making it easy and understandable. If you want to decide that you want to vaccinate yourself as an adult, or if you want to vaccinate as a child, or just to form an opinion about vaccines, about the amount of vaccines that people get and if it could be okay or not okay. So you have to consider the trade-off of the investment. Some investment into the vaccines and you avoid the potential mortality or disability, debilitating disease, infection of the mind, infection of the nerves, infection of the brain, stiff necks, stiff muscles, coughing, some nasty spots on the legs, on your chest, on your mouth, some cancer. Or you just tell to yourself, no, I'm an anti-vaxxer, I don't want to spend money, I don't want to vaccinate myself and my children, I better stick to the diseases, viruses and the potential cancers, and I just take all of the other things as a reward for that. Or you say, I go invest and I don't have to worry about diseases. You save time, you save money, you save the pills for the treatment. Just if you make this small investment, that's 3 doses or 4 doses if you want to be 99% sure. It's a good investment. Just drop 1,000 on all the booster vaccines and all the vaccines you can get and save like multiple thousands on the possible treatments of the diseases that you prevented for yourself. Think about it, how many days of vomiting, how many sick days you can prevent just because you vaccinate yourself. Think of how many years you can longer live if you prevent some type of cancer that are caused by the diseases which are preventable by a vaccine. Think of how many days you save that you don't lie in bed with fever just because you vaccinated yourself well against diseases and against the similar diseases that are related to the ones that you vaccinated yourself against for. In case you need more facts, more convincing evidence, just go read the Wikipedia about vaccines and then read about the types of the diseases they prevent and about the viruses and bacteria that cause the diseases, and see the family of these viruses and bacteria, and then you understand that the vaccines prevent more diseases than you pay for. So it's a best investment you can make in life for the healthcare. And now like 1-2 hours have passed after I vaccinated myself. No side effects, no vomiting, no rash, no heat. But I'm very hungry. Didn't eat for 15 hours. So the hunger is only side effect I get from the vaccination. In case it's a baby, probably more side effects, because the baby will cry and cry and cry, and then it will inflammate itself and get the red. And if you are a good adult, if you are calm and balanced, there's basically no side effects. Okay, have fun, vaccinate yourself. Be safe and healthy. It's the Indian version of the baby swing, no? Just like that. The baby swing, no? Mobile version of the baby swing. Nice.